Hi everyone, it is 3 days before I set off on my European Divide trail, and I thought I'd give you a bit of a rundown on the bike and all of the kit I'm taking with me, because people ask for it and I love watching these videos. So I thought I'd give people what they want. So the bike that I'm taking with me is the Mason In Search Of. So it's a steel frame with a rigid carbon fork, and it's pretty burly and can take these pretty wide 2.6-inch Vittoria Mezcal tyres. It's the same bike which I used for GB Duro 2 years ago when I was during lockdown and I had to take all of the food with me. So I'm pretty familiar with the bike and how it handles. Wheels are Hunt Search Dynamo, so I'll be running a dynamo with me. There isn't much opportunity to resupply with power, especially up in Scandinavia. And the build kit is all the gears are Shimano, so I've gone for the mix of Ultegra shifters, but paired with an XT mountain bike drivetrain, which gives me the good range of gears that I need. And those are with Shimano brakes as well, so 180 and 160 there. Finishing kit is some Ritchie Venture Max handlebars, which are 46 centimeters, I think, and Mason seat post and a specialised Phenom saddle with Mimic, which is actually a lady saddle, but I get on with it pretty well. And then I've got some aero bars as well. Okay, so all of the bags are made by Ross in Edinburgh, straight cut designs, so they're all handmade, and they contain everything which I'm going to need for the next 5 or 6 weeks. So let's start with the top tube bag. So in here is what I have mostly, the things I'm going to need immediately. So in here I've got some electricals. So I've got my cache battery, I have some headphones, I have the sine wave reactor, which is a USB charger which connects up to the hub, and a couple of other cable things as well. Other bits in the cockpit are the feed pouches. So in the left, I've basically just got snacks. So for the moment, it's chock-a-block with raw velo bars, which give me a lot of energy through the day. But obviously, I can only take so many of those with me, so I'm going to be resupplying and filling them up with anything I can find out on the trail. On the right, I've got things I might need with me as well. So I've got a tiny little packable backpack, which is really handy if I need to carry a little bit more food or do something for carrying more some water, perhaps. I then have my GoPro, which I'm going to use to record a little bit of video along the way, and then some spare batteries and that kind of thing as well. I also in here have my Garmin InReach Mini 2, which I'm going to use for tracking. I have always used a spot tracker before, but I thought I'd try this one out because my spot tracker broke on Highland Trail. So hopefully this is more reliable. On to the main frame bag. So this compartment is mostly clothing that I might need during the day. So I've got a little gilet from DHB. So this is really packable, nice and reflective as well, or high vis. So I'll just put it on to keep the wind off, maybe in the evenings. A little hat, just to maybe when I'm sleeping, get some extra warmth, buff. Some DHB Lab Polotech gloves, so nice and fleecy and fluffy, keep me warm. Leg warmers, some arm warmers as well, and then my little pouch of extra electrical things. So in here I've got a head torch, charging brick, a spare Garmin, my main one's up here, so it's an Edge 530. I like to carry two in case one goes wrong or I run out of charge. And then an assortment of cables and some spare batteries for things like the head torch. And then a second cache battery. So I've got two 20,000 milliamp hour ones, which are pretty handy. The main compartment here, I have a water bladder. So this is a Hydro Pack 2 litre one. and in it I've got a catadine filter, so it's got the same diameter as the B3 filters, so you can just replace it. So this will be handy if I need to store more water. Also, it's how I'm going to filter water. Lots of these little pouches. So this one has got some repair bits in it, so more things like for repairing my sleep system, or like bags, so sewing kit, bit of Sugru, some repair tape. In this one I have my little hygiene kit, so it's just got toothbrush, toothpaste, some Compeed, Pro Plus, ibuprofen, little tick remover tool, which are handy because I think there should be a lot of ticks in Scandinavia. This is my main repair kit, which I'm going to take with me for the bike. So all the usual things: tyre lever, a spare valve, a little Fiberfix Kevlar spoke, tube patches, sewing kit, spare Garmin mount, a little set of pliers, spare brake pads, super glue, spare stand start bits, spare cleat, mech hanger, and a valve core tool. So all of that goes in there and packs away nice and neatly. And then additional bits of my repair kit, I have some sealant that I've got with me, and then some inner tubes tucked down there as well. I'm also going to start off with a little cook set. So this is just a little titanium pot that I've got a tiny BRS stove, lighter, and then some gas in there. I'm going to have to try and find some gas when I get to Norway, but that should be okay. And I'm going to use that for the first week or so because there isn't much resupply, so I've got some freeze-dried meals. And then pump and spare tubes and that sort of thing. Onto the saddlebag. Opening it up, it is mostly the things that I won't need that often because it's a little bit harder to get at. So I have my DHB Trail waterproof jacket. This is brilliant. It was the same one I used for Highland Trail this year, and it kept me dry really well. So great bit of kit that. I also have a DHB Equinox soft shell, which has got Polartec lining in it, so it's nice and warm, and this is a good thing for extra bit of warmth when I'm cycling. Also, I've got my freeze-dried meals, which are made by Firepot, which is a brand that's local to me in Dorset. So they've got a selection of them. They'll probably last the first couple of days and just keep me fueled, just because, as I said, the resupplies are only every couple of 100 Ks. And then down here, got my down jacket, which is an Arc'teryx one. Packs down tiny. Not the warmest of ones, but really packable and really nice and comfy to wear. And then tucked down right at the bottom is an emergency bivvy tinfoil blanket bag thing that is great if I find myself a lot colder than I expected to, and I can add this, but I'm not hoping not to use it, but always good to have. And that leads me on to my cook set, not my cook set, my sleep stuff, which is all in the front here. I was in two minds about what to take with me, whether to go for a tent or a slightly lighter setup. But I think it's worth prioritising my recovery. But I've gone for a hooped bivvy in the end. So I roll it all up into one big roll. And then all I need to do is sort of unfold it and then put the hoop through and then get into it, which is quite easy. So in here I've got a luxury, which is a mini inflatable pillow, which I've never used before, but normally I use some shoes, but I thought I'd prioritise a bit of comfort, and it's only like 30-40 grams. Then, so it's an outdoor research helium bivvy, and inside it I have a Cedar Summit Spark SP1 down bag, which is pretty good, a Rab silk liner, and then a Thermarest Neo Air mattress. So all that goes into one, and it's easy to just get in and out, roll it up, and then get going. Another couple of other bits on my bike that are worth mentioning are the lights. So the front is an Exposure Revo, that will power, that it runs off the dynamo, so that's pretty handy. Although I'm not expecting to need it for the first couple of weeks at least, because when I start in Norway, it's going to be 24 hours of sunlight for the first 2 weeks. So I won't need the lights. I've also got a spare tracer, like exposure again from the front, and a rear one as well. Other bits of controls, so Garmin 530. I've got the Shimano Di2 screen here, which can tell me which gear I'm in and battery levels. And then over on the far side here, I've got some other little bits I might need during the day. So I've got my lube, multi-tool, Di2 charger, insect repellent and sun cream, and then a titanium spoon. Okay, so the final piece of the puzzle is what I'm actually going to be wearing whilst riding. So my clothing sponsor is DHB. So I've chosen to use the Aeron Ultra jersey, which is a really lightweight and breathable and quite wicking top. It's also got 5 pockets at the back, which are great for storing a load of extra stuff in, extra overflow capacity. And then I'm going to be pairing that, so underneath that, the Polartec base layer, which is just good to, you know, wick a bit of sweat, control your heat a little bit. If it gets really, really hot, like above 30, I'll probably get rid of it, but I normally wear a base layer like the whole time anyway. Then on the bottom, I've got the Aeron Ultra bibs, which have got a really nice thick pad that works really well for me. Bibs are personal, and these are just the ones that I like really well. They've also got a pocket on the leg, which is again useful for mostly things just like sticking, you know, chocolate bar wrappers and that kind of thing, just to put a bit of extra carrying capacity. Then I always wear a pair of gloves. So I've got the mitts that have got the pad's been made by Elastic Interface, who also make the chamois. So it's a really nice thick pad, and I get on really well with these gloves. So I'll be wearing those the whole time and expect to have beautiful tan lines the whole time. So the other little bit is the helmet. So I've got a Casque Protoni, which is getting towards the end of its life now, but should be okay. And some Oakley flight jackets with the photochromic lenses to protect my head and my eyes. Then the final thing is the shoes, and I've got some Quok Grand Tourer 3s. Grand Tourer 3s? Grand Tourer 2, there we go. And those are sort of a gravel shoe, nice and comfy. I'll be getting on with those. Dream. So, on the whole, I've packed maybe a little bit heavier than I would or in previous years, or packed in the past for similar events, but it's 7,600 kilometers long. So prioritizing comfort, sleep, reliability, and just how well things last is going to be key to me if I'm going to make it to the end. I think the thing that most worries me about it is the unknown. It's an enormous route and no one's tried to race it before. So I don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't know if my target of around 35 days is realistic, but I guess we'll see. So I fly tomorrow morning and I'll be starting on probably Friday morning as well. So you should be able to follow along on the tracker, and if you've got any questions, just stick them below and I will do my best to get back to you. I'll also try and do a rundown after I'm finished of all the kit, because some of it might not work as well as I hope it to. Other than that, I hope you'll have a great day.